you sensing from the group ahead of this one?
We're excited, yeah. Got a chance to close it here. That's our focus. Obviously last game we'd like to do it. We didn't. And, the focus is on tonight. Good opportunity here to move on. And, again, just it's going to be in the details and just, one little play at a time.
In your past experience, do you try to really kind of treat it like a normal game and not play it up, or do you lean into kind of the opportunity that the group has?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is leaning into it. I think, it's enjoying this. We had a great opportunity against a great team to put them away and to do it in their building, too. We found ways to win here, and there's no reason why we can't again tonight.
Do you think you guys have had your best game yet?
No, definitely not. At times we've done some good things, but we haven't been, consistent with it the way we'd like for a full 60. And obviously there's good momentum that shifts at a different time, but for us, we're looking for more of a complete game, and if we can do that, it's going to help us push them out.
Ryan, what happened in Game 5 in terms of it just seemed like your forecheck could never really get going like it had in previous games?
I think I think they're just in general in that overall game. I think they just had a little more urgency. They had the desperation. They're fighting for their lives. Where I think maybe we were a little cautious, trying not to, just to try to be maybe a little safe at times. And that's over. They found a way to win that one, and the focus shifts to here. But for sure, we'll need a better forecheck tonight if we're gonna have better looks offensively.
What's your best advice you could give to someone who hasn't played in the series or much of the series and comes in at this stage?
I think, again, it's, like I said, kind of leaning into it, enjoying this opportunity. That's a tough thing to do, but, it's playoffs and it's an exciting time. Every single guy wants to be out there, wants to be playing, and, it's enjoying that and doing whatever you possibly can at, any time.
What's your sense of Bunting, Ryan, like how he's handled this series?
I think it's good. He's handled it very well. That's obviously a tough situation, to have that. But, his excitement right now to have come back and be a part of this. And you just tell there's something that I think we as a group can feed off of.
Brian, the road teams have been very successful throughout the playoffs. Your biggest win in the NHL came perhaps, in Boston, in that raucous arena. What do you think it is about how road teams are succeeding so much?
It's tough to give a direct answer. I think for us, we approach each game the same way. I don't really have an answer for that, but for us again, it's another game. We liked the last one, we didn't. Focus on this one and the details, and hopefully we can end it tonight.
Thank you, Ryan.
Appreciate it.
Coming into this game, don't want to be on our heels at all. Don't want to sit back and let them dictate the game at all. We want to take it to them and right from the get-go.
Have you learned anything about what makes these elimination games such a challenge? I would say for this team.
It's hard to put a finger on it. I mean, there's been a number of them. I think there's probably different things that go into all of them, but the main thing that we've taken away is just that we don't want to leave anything up to chance. We don't want to leave anything up to the other team. We want to dictate play. We want to take it to them. We want to be on the front foot and not be sitting back letting the game come to us.
So how would you kind of characterize the mood around this team over the last 24 hours or so?
The mood's great. I mean, as upbeat as I've seen after a big loss like that. So we've still got a lot of belief in this group. We know that we're a good team, and one game's not going to change anything.
Why do you think it's more upbeat in this scenario? After a big tough loss?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think that maybe the fact that we've been there before, we've been in these situations, you learn from those experiences. You bring in other guys that have gone the distance, that have been around, been through losses. And you learn and grow every year, and you take that experience with you and hope that when you're there the next time that things go a different way.
How do you feel Bunting's handling everything, and what are you sensing from him now?
Honestly, really, really impressed with how he's handled everything. I think that it's a situation that you don't want anyone to go through, especially a guy like him. I think that the play in itself, he's not a dirty player by any means. It was an unfortunate hit to get suspended in playoffs in Toronto. It was something like that. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of noise around you, and I think that he's handled it extremely well. Then coming back, not playing the first game, who knows what happens going forward, but just his attitude, his mindset has been incredible, and I think that says a lot about him as a person.
Do you feel maybe like more, you mentioned the word urgency, do you feel, or do you notice maybe more urgency than compared to elimination games in years past?
It's hard to say because I think when you're in that moment, you feel like you have a lot of urgency then too. So it's easy to look back and say, "Oh, we should have had more urgency." I think that the main thing that I was saying earlier was just that we want to dictate play. We want to get after them, not let things happen to us and force the opposition to play the way that we want to play.
Brian has said when this team is playing well, it really is about kind of trusting yourselves, right? Trusting the system, trusting each other, and how much of the series is about that? It's not belief, but just trusting that this team is as good as it is, right?
Yeah, I think that it's a good point. I don't know. I think that obviously you need to have belief in the group, in the structure of the group, in the people that you're playing with, and you need to have belief in yourself. And I think that that's the most important thing, is just to not let anything else come into your mind, and know that if you play the right way, the structure of the team is going to take care of itself, and ultimately things are going to go.
Luke, what's the sense of the group after that loss? What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously they played great. Vasi played good again, and you know, you got to turn the page. That's the playoffs. When you're trying to go for a series, or you know, you think of the long haul. It's an emotional roller coaster, but you sit there and you think about it. You try to correct some things, and you know, tweak some things as the other team would, and learn from your mistakes, and take some things you liked and try to apply it to the next game. And you know, short memory, good or bad, I think that's the number one thing in playoffs, and you just want to be as present as you can. And guys are looking forward to the opportunity.
Do you think you guys have played your best game yet?
Do I think we played our best?
Yeah.
No, I think we've got more to give for sure. I think there's been times where we've played good. You know, you look at some third periods or some things where, yeah, guys have you know, skated well and moved the puck well and made some plays. But to say we've sit here and you know done it for an entire game, no, I don't think that's the case.
Thanks, Luke. Thank you, Luke.
Hi, so we've got some decisions to make this afternoon on some of our guys, so our lineup's not set, so I'm not going to take any questions on that, but happen to answer anything else. Yeah, injuries, yeah.
So Sheldon, earlier in the series you talked about how Tampa was throwing everything they had at you and you survived that game, you won it. Do you think you've had a game where you've been able to throw everything you've had at them?
Well, certainly game 2 would be that. I think the second and third periods of game 4, thought we did a lot of good things in there. But certainly it's been too long since we've had that between 2 and 6 here tonight. You know, we need to have a complete game.
Is there a chance Liljegren draws in though?
I'm not going to take any questions on the lineup.
Sheldon, what's your sense of how Bunting has handled everything and waiting for his next chance?
I think he's been great. From you know, the disappointment of getting suspended first of all and being unavailable, and the work that he's put in through that. I think that you know, how he handled when I told him he's not going to be part of the lineup coming back. You know, I think he recognized the situation he and the team are in, and he stayed positive and continued to do the work to be ready if called on.
What do you think has been the biggest impediment to you guys getting to that best game? Obviously, they have a vote too, the opponent.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that it's a significant impediment on the other side. You know, they've played very well. So, yeah, it's just a matter of us finding our way through that. Like I said, at times we've done a good job. We did a good job at various times in this building. Obviously, we got good results, but you know, I think we've started games well in this building. Even in game 4, we didn't. You know, we come out of we're down 2-0 at the end of the first period, but we started that game well for me in the first 10 minutes, and we're going to need that type of a start again here today. Game 3, you know, we start well. We're up 2-1, score first, all those kind of things. So, you know, that's the type of stuff you're looking to accomplish on the road. expect it to be another very close, very hard-fought type game here tonight, and want to get on the right side of it.
Alex Kerfoot mentioned that he felt like the group was more upbeat than it usually has been in the past, coming off a tough playoff loss. You spoke about the vibrancy yesterday. Is that kind of what you're feeling too about the group right now?
Yeah, I am for sure. Yesterday was very apparent. Like I said, as a coach, you're wanting to really get a sense of where the team is at to then sort of gauge what they might need from you as the coach. And I thought the group did a good job yesterday of showing that they're confident, showing that that they're far from defeated, that we're still in a good spot here in this series. Of course, I have great respect for the challenge it is to finish off a series and finish off this opponent and do it here on the road. But the guys are confident in themselves individually and collectively, and I think that was apparent yesterday. And game time will come, and then it's an opportunity to bring that onto the ice, where obviously that's most important.
Sheldon, teams scrap and claw for home ice throughout the regular season, but it doesn't seem to really matter in this series, other series across the playoffs. You put that down to anything?
Yeah, it's hard to say, other than I think, one of the things that really happens in the regular season, I think, is home and road and splits. Home and road splits don't tell a true story in the regular season. I think in the playoffs, so much of what happens with road trips and home stands and stuff, it's all equal. Everybody's on the exact same schedule for the most part. Obviously the team with home ice advantage maybe travels a little bit less early in the series, but you're on the same playing field in terms of energy levels and schedules. And I think that variance in the regular season is what oftentimes can dictate what happens with home and road splits in the regular season, and all of that is kind of thrown out in the playoffs. So I think that's a big part of it. Sometimes you're in playing at home and you just happen to get a team that's been on the road for a lot, or you get a team that's dealing with a bunch of injuries comes in, and all these kind of things seem to equal themselves out in the playoffs, and the teams just play hockey.
What are you doing right to keep the line of Stamkos, Point, and Kucherov pretty much in check 5-on-5?
Well, I think we've done good things, in terms of trying to limit their speed and their opportunities to the neutral zone. But, they've had their looks, no doubt. We've gotten saves at good times, all of that kind of stuff. But like I talked about yesterday, we don't focus too much on those kind of things. Just try to, in terms of whether you've done a good job or you haven't, you just got to keep doing the things that you're asking the team to do, which for us is manage the puck well against them, manage the speed, have numbers coming back, close quickly. They're so dangerous, and they can make a play at any time, and dangerous shooters that can score in various ways. Just got to continue to stay with it. But over the course of a series, some nights it's going to be the best players, some nights it's going to be the depth guys. On both teams, I think, there's been times where the top players have carried the load, and there's times when the depth guys have chipped in.
And one last question. I'm curious, as a group, how do you embrace the moment, embrace the challenge, and not let it become too big or too much?
Yeah, I think it's being on the road. I think it helps with that. There's far less going on when you're on the road. The team itself stays together. All the players had dinner together last night, all in the same place as we did the previous time that we've came out here to Tampa. For each of the nights that we were here, and it's in my time in this role. It's first time that's ever happened where the team has always stayed together every night. So I think that just keeps things in house, keeps guys collective, or keeps them collected in their thoughts and what they're doing and who's where, who's doing what. Just keeps us a cohesive group. I think that the players have really led the way in that department, being on the road. I think there's as I say, far less happening outside of what really matters. And as I mentioned, when you're in these moments and you're dealing with the different pressures and things that come with a playoff series, I think the more you can keep it internal in terms of what really matters and focus on what matters and what's required of the team, the better. And I think being on the road is an advantage in that sense here right now. It just allows our team to pull together that much closer here, because we know obviously, this is the hardest one to get here. Obviously, the last one and finishing the deal is not an easy thing to do.